Welcome back to my bathroom and welcome to video 8 in the hair color series. Today we're comparing weaving and slicing when we're talking about foiling. If you missed the previous videos to this series, it's linked in the description box below, and if you're joining me from cosmetology school, we are again on page 699. Oh yeah, and subscribe! We're here for you every single week, right doctor? We're gonna be doing a low light today. We're using 7G, and this one's leaking. It should still be fine. 7G or 7.3, which is level 7 with a gold base, which is really warm yellow. Honestly, not my favorite, but I haven't used it in a while, so thought we could give it a go. We're gonna be pairing it with 10 volume because we're depositing only. We're going darker for a low light. And it's equal parts or 1-to-1 ratio. Here's what the color looks like, and normally if this was a new tube, it would be white, but anytime the air hits the color, it oxidizes it and turns it into a darker color. So that is totally normal. Slappy tappy this around, doctor. Should look like this. The first technique we're gonna go over today is called slicing. This gives you a chunky, more defiant highlight or low light. Think of like Christina Aguilera, those little 3 options when it comes to slicing. You can do thin, medium, or chunky. This is just how thick or thin the actual slice is or what you're gonna put in the foil in color. I'm gonna demonstrate this on myself. To note, the placement is not one that I would recommend. I'm just gonna be doing a few right here. Y'all know the redneck salon isn't complete without this piece of work. Also, I have a comb today. Found it. Horizontal slices right here. Ignore this hair color. We still have that going on from the root retouch. I'm gonna fix it one day, but not today. Back in with the highlighting paper. So the first one we're going to do is a thin slice. For this, I'm gonna take a 1/2 inch subsection like this, or even smaller if you want. It kind of depends on the desired look for how thick or thin you're gonna take this initial chunk. We leave the hairline out when we're highlighting. Now we're gonna take our rat tail comb and slice off the top. All you're doing is taking a sliver off the top of this section. We're gonna go through and we're going to take a horizontal subsection, about a 1/2 inch. Then we're gonna take another horizontal sliver off the top or slice. Take your comb, kind of go in slightly at a 45 and drag it across. Pick this up, drop what's on the bottom. This is what's gonna go inside the foil. This is your thin slice. It is very thin. You should be able to see beneath it or read a newspaper under it. If you look really close, it almost looks like a weave. And honestly, if I'm in a hurry and the client wants a weave, which is the more natural look, you can do a super, super thin slice and it will look like a weave. And I've got some breakage here, y'all. I got the C19 a while ago and it's been taking me a while to recover from that, but my hair has not been the same. So anyway, I have found some things that work. I'll make a video on that another time, but some things to help repair my hair, but it has started just like leaving me. It's leaving me. Now you're gonna take your paper or foil. If you're working with paper, again, we are on the matte side, so it will stick. Lining it up with the part line, horizontal. Everything is horizontal right now. Put this down. Applying our color, lightener, whatever you're doing. Getting our tail, taking it vertical at the top for a staggered look. We don't want the harsh line. Folding this. Take another 1/2 inch subsection. You wanna make sure it's a very clean line. Now we're gonna do a medium slice, which is the same method, but it's just a little bit thicker. This offers more of a stripe look. So same kind of method, leaving the hairline out, taking our comb, a little bit out of 45, and we're just grabbing a little bit more hair than we did last time. About like this. You should still be able to see through this. You don't want to put too much hair in the foil or it's not going to be able to cover it all and you're going to have little spots that didn't color. It looks like cowl spots. And I'm taking the rat tail comb and just kind of going down. I usually do that 3 times. That creates kind of a back combing effect. That will also help stagger it. If you're using a foil over the rat tail comb, taking your slice, weave, whatever you've got, mid shaft, going down. That will also kind of back comb the hair so you don't have to worry about the look. Matches my part line, horizontal, horizontal, same kind of thing. Apply the color, horizontal. Back and forth to make sure I'm covering everything, putting the tail up. Vertical at the top. Moving on, another 1/2 inch subsection. We're gonna do a thicker slice, leave the hairline out. Big chunk, taking kind of at a slight 45. This is the most noticeable effect. It's very early 2000s. You are going to be able to see this because look at all this hair we're about to color. But again, at the same time, I can still see through this. Good for paneling or fantasy colors, but as far as a blonde and a brown highlight, low light, haven't done it in a while. It is a little outdated, that look, but I feel like it is coming back because all that early 2000s jazz is coming back. Okay, get this tail, come on down here. Vertical at the top, but honestly it doesn't matter because this hair, my root color is dark, so it's not going to change it. It's about a level 5. This color is a level 7, so it's really not gonna do anything to it. Fold. So there we have the thin, medium, and thick slices. Now we're gonna move on to weaving, which is the most common type of highlight, my personal favorite. It does take a little bit more time and you're definitely going to need, definitely gonna need a weaving comb, rat tail comb, pintail comb, or chopstick for this. Let's move our fancy accessories. So same little gimmick, I'm gonna demonstrate it on this horizontal chunk right here. So when we're talking about weaving, it's the same 3 techniques. You can do a fine, medium, or thick weave. When we weave, you do the same thing. You slice off a very thin top of your subsection, and I'm gonna over exaggerate this so you can see, but you take your comb, hold it with maximum tension really tight, and you're going up, down, up, down, up, and you're grabbing whatever is on top. That gives you every other hair. A lot of people like to do this like they're weaving a basket, which is kind of the snake pattern, making the S like this, just kind of moving through the hair. But for me, I find that it works better if you go up, down, versus the snake. Just like this, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, pull what's on top. Thin weave, the most natural look. Same thing like we did on the slice. You're taking a thin slice, very thin. Check it, can I see through that? Yes. Then I'm going to take up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, but they're going to be very, very tiny. This is a very natural look. We're gonna go slow, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. See this, how thin and fine it is? Grab everything on the top. Okay, comb this down, make sure you don't have any peekaboos hanging out at you. This is what's going in our foil or paper. Okay, I'm gonna take the back of my rat tail comb, 1, 2, 3. Now you can see, especially on my root, how it's missing every other hair. It's only gonna color the select pieces. Hair color down, back and forth to make sure we get everything. Side to side, I mean, whatever. Get the tail, square that up, take it vertical. And again, I don't have to pay too much attention to my root color. It's not gonna change it, but if it were straight blonde, I would be a little bit more careful, especially with this weave, on applying the color close to the paper. I don't want it to expand out, but I still wanna get it as close as I can. If you've ever had highlights where the stylist didn't go up enough and your highlights already look outgrown when you leave the salon and you're like, what the heck is that? You wanna try to avoid that look, unless it's intentional, of course. Moving on to the medium weave, you're gonna take another 1/2 inch subsection down. When you're weaving, you can take this whole section and weave this whole thing just like this. Bring the rest of this down. It really depends on the desired look that you're going for. I typically always still slice off the top. Leave this bottom for dimension, remove the hairline, and weave this part. So I'm doing a medium weave, which means I'm going to be doing a bigger or chunkier weave. And that's actually pretty small subsection, that's okay. Back of the rat tail comb, lifting this way up, coming in kind of at a 45 to get as close as we can. Making sure there's no hooks at the top, little whoop, fish hooks, because you don't want to color a little hook. It'll make a stripe. Making sure that looks good. And you can see here that it's a little bit thicker than the fine weave, but still going to look pretty natural. Back in with the 7G, horizontal, side to side to make sure everything's covered. Flip up our tail, and then go in vertical at the top. All right, now in for our chunky weave, which is what you would wanna do if you don't wanna quite commit to a slice, or you're doing like a fantasy color, or you just want something that is very, very visible. Honestly, don't do that often, but it is kind of nice to do an alteration if you're doing weaving. So you could do a fine weave in a foil, fine weave, chunky weave. Fine, fine, chunky. It gives it a really nice dimension. Same little gimmick, taking down 1/2 inch subsection. Now I'm going to slice off the top of that, leaving that out for dimension. Take out the hairline, and I'm gonna do a chunky piece, okay? So we are really going for it. Up, down, up, down, up. Pull this up. Rat tail comb, put the paper in. Okay, making sure I don't have any hooks. And you can see how different this looks. Very, very chunky. Apply the color to make it stay. Then we can move it side to side. Our foil is slipping, so we're going to help it move up vertical at the top. Fold it. Peekaboo at it real quick. Woo! It'll look good from far away, don't worry about it. Okay, so I'll see you back here in about 20 minutes. While we're waiting, I decided I'm gonna put this Verb purple brightening mask. It's supposed to be on my hair, but it's okay. So in between the foils, I'm just gonna apply this mask to brighten up the blonde. I hate this thing. Let's take a look at the results. I was doing a short for this braid. Let's take this out. There's the thicker slice. So obviously in lighter colors, it's not a huge dramatic change, especially with this one. I should have done a darker color, but the 7G was staring at me. Compared to this side, here's the chunky 1, 2, and 3. So it's just a slight color change. I've got to fix those roots, y'all. I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it today, but I'm gonna do it. Then we have the medium one, 1, 2, 3, and I believe that's 4. A very nice, natural. But the fine one, I can honestly not even see it very much. And that's the point. The fine one is meant to be very, 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 very subtle. That's it. Slicing. Slicing honestly sounds better. Slicing versus weaving. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, drop them below. And I can't wait to see you next week. I'm not sure what we're doing, but we're meeting back in the bathroom for another portion of the hair color series, number 9. Keep a bad thing rolling. So I will see you next time for something cool. Something cool.